Hello Circle Kicking community and welcome to the very first video on this channel. If you clicked on this video, chances are you just found out about this video game called OS. In that case, great, because today I will be explaining everything you need to know to start playing OS. So before we start, let's take a look at what we're going to talk about today. If you want to see anything in particular, you can click on the annotation on the screen, and I'll also leave timestamps in the description. Perfect, so let's not waste any more time and jump right into the first category. Hardware. There are 4 main devices used to play this game: keyboard, mouse, tablet and touchpad. And while touchpad is rarely seen, people mostly use keyboard and mouse or keyboard and tablet. But if you're a beginner, chances are you don't own a tablet or a touchpad. For the beginning, it's probably enough to know that most people use keyboard for clicking and either mouse or tablet to aim. If you are like me, you might have jumped into the game the very first second the download finished and only used mouse to play. This is by far not the ideal way to play the game, and I'll explain why in just a second. Settings. I know when you first set OS, you don't really want to deal with settings, but let me show you how changing some settings can really affect your gameplay. Here you can see a song with the settings changed on the left side and left as they were on the right side. Notice how on the right everything's way flashier and harder to concentrate on, while on the left focusing on the gameplay is way easier. Okay, so let's start with the settings. On the very top you can see basic login settings, just like on any other website. If you already have an account, great, you can log on right here. If you don't, I'll leave a link in the description where you can sign in. If you want to sign out, just click on Login As and sign out. Next is language. I left mine on English, but of course you can select whatever you want. Moving on to release stream, where you can select which kind of build you want to use. For the beginning, I would recommend latest, as it's the most stable public build. Skipping a few settings, we're now at layout, where we can select our resolution. I'd recommend putting it to native, since it's probably what you'll be most comfortable with. For the detailed settings, it's best to deselect them all at first. I'll make a more detailed video about settings in the future, but for now, let's just try to get rid of everything annoying while in-game. Since it doesn't affect the gameplay, let's skip main menu and song select. Now we're in general gameplay settings, and by far the most important thing to do here is put the background dim up to 100%. Turning it all the way up will put the opacity of the background to 0%, leaving you with a black screen perfect for gameplay. Again, we'll skip a few settings since they aren't relevant for our gameplay. If you're playing with mouse, I definitely recommend checking the raw input setting. Also, you might want to check disable mouse wheel in play mode, since it changes the game's volume and accidentally doing so can be really distracting. For cursor ripples, I think they're not too distracting, so it's personal preference. For keyboard, you can click on the blue box that says change keyboard bindings. You probably don't know what most of these settings are for, but that's okay, since we'll only change the first 2. These settings are left and right click, and changing them will change the keys you click with. For now, choose 2 keys that are close or next to each other and you're comfortable clicking with. Most people tend to choose Z and X or Y and X in case you have a German keyboard, so try to go with something similar. For now, that's it for the settings. But as I said, there'll be a video where I talk about what everything does in detail. Skins. Now that we've gone through all the settings, there's just one thing left to do to make gameplay easier. What I'm talking about are skins, and they change the appearance of OS. Skins are community-made files that can easily be selected in the settings. To show you how skins change the gameplay, here's a comparison of a custom skin on the left and the default skin on the right. Again, the default skin looks a lot flashier than the custom skin does, which is why many players choose to play with a custom skin. You probably don't know which skins to get and where to get them, which is why I linked 3 in the description. Just download them and double click the .osk file and they automatically load up in-game. After loading your custom skin, the way OS looks will change. Overlay. For overlay, let's first start with opening the chat. To do so, simply press the F8 key. Now you can see all of your chats and chat rooms. Clicking on the yellow plus on the right will bring up a list with other chat rooms. Simply clicking on them will allow you to join in chat, but keep in mind that misbehaving will lead to a silence. Pressing F9 will bring up the player list. Here you can do all sorts of things, like look at your friends or annoy pro players. I'm just kidding, please don't do that. Clicking on a player's icon will let you spectate them, view their profile, start a chat, or add them as a friend. Players don't have to accept the friend request, though you can see if he or she is a mutual friend on their online profile. Moving on to the map list, where you can see all of your maps listed and sorted in different categories. On the top right you can see group and sort. There you can change how they are sorted. Clicking on a map will bring up all of its difficulties. Clicking on a specific difficulty will show you all of the beat map's information in the top left corner. Right below there's a drop down where you can select how you want your map's ranking to be shown. Below that there are your or other players' rankings on this specific beat map. Clicking on a ranking will allow you to watch the replay and look at statistics of the map, though you can also see them by hovering the mouse over the ranking. On the bottom side of the screen you can select different modes. Currently there are Osemania, Catch the Beat, Taiko and Os Standard. Right next to game modes you can see mods. They changed the gameplay and some changed the score, but for now you don't need to care about them. Next to mods you see random. You can either click this icon or press F2 and it will select a random beat map. Useful if you don't know what to play. Next to that are beat map settings. If you click this icon it will bring up a list with settings for the beat map you currently have selected. You can also do that by simply right-clicking the map. On the bottom middle of the screen there are your player stats. There you can see your name, icon, performance points, level, accuracy and rank. Gameplay. Earlier on we set the settings so you click with your keyboard and aim with your mouse. So first off, why do we do that? If you only use your mouse to click, it will leave you with one hand doing everything and the other hand doing nothing. With easy maps, it doesn't seem like much of a problem, but as maps get more difficult, it will be much harder to coordinate. That's why you split this task in half and let one hand do the clicking and the other hand do the aiming. As I said, in the beginning I did not use my keyboard, which made it way harder for me to adapt to it once I tried to. For the very first map to play, I'd recommend Peter Lambert's Os tutorial. Yes, it's old and a little cringy, but it still teaches you the basics of the game fairly well. In the background you can see me playing Os for the first time on Peter Lambert's Os tutorial. It's meant to be played without background dim and video on, but you already know that's not the perfect way to play this game. After you've completed Os tutorial, you can jump into one of the other pre-installed maps or download a custom map. To do so, you need to go to the Os website, log in, and click on Beat Maps. Here you can see all beat maps available. Simply click on one you find interesting and hit the download button. It will give you an OC file that will load right into Os when you double click it. Now you can select from tens of thousands of beat maps and start your way on becoming an Osu Rhythm Champion. That's it for today. If you think I forgot anything, or you have a question, leave it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed, and see you next time.